Hello and welcome back to Football Daily, where today we're doing something a little different. We're giving you a rundown of where the most famous side in Chelsea history are right now. Let's get started. Goalkeeper, Petr Cech. When people reflect on Chelsea's improbable 2012 Champions League triumph, they often focus on Drogba's late equaliser and nerveless penalty to seal the win, rather than Petr Cech's heroics throughout the final. The fact is that the Blues got completely outplayed in the final, with Bayern having a ridiculous 35 shots with 7 on target to Chelsea's 9. Only the then 29-year-old's near flawless performance and penalty save from Robben saw Chelsea win their first European Cup at their second attempt. Few would begrudge the Czech his moment of glory. After all, this was a player who had a comeback from a life-threatening injury to win 4 Premier League titles and keep 35 more clean sheets than anybody else, therefore laying claim to be the best in Premier League history. 3 years on from Munich, and Cech joined Arsenal for a fee of £10 million, and though made another 139 professional appearances and won the FA Cup, the 12 to 15 points per season John Terry promised never materialised. Now back at Chelsea as technical director, his role is to facilitate links between the academy and the first team, and if he's as half as successful as he was on the pitch, Blues fans can be very optimistic. Right back, Jose Bosingwa. With Gary Cahill having been forced off with injury after 12 minutes, David Luiz were in the matchday squad and John Terry in the stands after his red card, Chelsea were facing a defensive crisis at half-time of their semi-final second leg against Barcelona. The scores were 2-2 on aggregate, and Roberto Di Matteo's men faced another 45 minutes up against the Champions League holders of Messi, Sanchez, Xavi and Iniesta. But according to Drogba, it was Bosingwa who stepped up at half-time. The Ivorian later claimed that the manager was telling Ivanovic to play centre-back, but Jose Bosingwa said no, I will play centre-back, and he carried on to say where he thought others should play. This rare moment of leadership was typical of his Chelsea career. An unspectacular performer who won 2 FA Cups in West London, but missed out on a Premier League medal through injury. Few will remember Bosingwa with any great fondness. The 120 minutes he played in the final proved to be the 27-capped Portuguese's final game for the Blues. He later moved on to QPR, where he was caught smiling on TV after their relegation, and ultimately Trabzonspor, with whom he retired in 2016 after going on strike over unpaid wages. Before we move on to our next Chelsea player, make sure if you're new to the channel you subscribed and hit the notification bell so you never miss a video. Centre-back, David Luiz. On the 14th of March 2012, Chelsea's season was on the line. Andre Villas-Boas had been sacked 10 days earlier, with the club in 5th, 20 points behind leaders Manchester City, and having lost their first leg of the Champions League last 16 against Napoli 3-1 away from home. Roberto Di Matteo had been put in temporary charge of the team ahead of the Stamford Bridge leg, and instantly recalled Ashley Cole and Frank Lampard, who had been marginalised by the previous regime. Chelsea secured a famous 4-1 win over Walter Mazzari's Napoli, which contained the likes of Cavani, Hamšík and Lavezzi, with David Luiz named as man of the match after a virtuoso defensive display. Although injury would see the then 25-year-old miss the semi-finals and the FA Cup final, the Brazilian would play a key role in the final in Munich, converting a penalty in the shootout. Since then, Luiz's career has been eventful to say the least. 3 moves totalling €92 million, the tiers of 2014, and a further 11 trophies, including 3 league titles in 2 different countries and 2 Europa Leagues. Now at Arsenal, having been told he was no longer part of former teammate Frank Lampard's plans, David Luiz has already showed his trademark ball-playing abilities and defensive fallibility under Emery. Centre-back, Gary Cahill. Very little notice was paid when 33-year-old Gary Cahill joined Crystal Palace on a free transfer this summer. After all, the 61-capped international had only played 8 games in 18-19, as Maurizio Sarri preferred Rudiger and David Luiz as a partnership backed up by Christensen. Having missed their opening day draw against Everton, his former England manager Roy Hodgson included him from the start against Manchester United and Aston Villa, in which he played a crucial role in both victories. Why should we be surprised though? Cahill has always risen to the occasion. In 2012 he went from a Bolton side containing the likes of David and Gog, Chris Eagles and Kevin Davies that lost 14 of their opening 18 Premier League games, to playing 5 Champions League games in a team containing some of the all-time Premier League greats. Having joined Chelsea as a 26-year-old, Cahill became one of the most consistent players of the decade, racking up 290 appearances for the club, winning 8 trophies in 8 years and being named in the PFA Team of the Year on 3 occasions, one fewer than John Terry. Cahill's defensive performances this season will be a massive part of Palace's slim hopes of survival in 1920. Left back, Ashley Cole. Ashley Cole's magnificent performances over 8 years at Chelsea, in which he won 8 trophies, including the Champions League, Europa League, 4 FA Cups and a Premier League title to add to his 2 collected in North London, proved to be the perfect extinguisher for the criticism aimed at him after his departure from Arsenal. Arguably the best left back in the world in 2006, the Gooners Academy graduate was left, quote, trembling with anger when Arsenal only offered him £55,000 a week and eventually signed for Chelsea on a £90,000 a week contract. In that moment, Cole instantly secured himself as one of London's most divisive players, alongside Sol Campbell and William Gallas. But his consistent level of excellence will mean he will always be remembered as a legend by the Stamford Bridge faithful. Take his 2012 Champions League campaign for example. He played nearly 1,100 minutes, completed over 88% of his passes and averaged 4.7 tackles and interceptions. His 0.6 key passes per 90 led to 2 assists, only topped by Torres, Lampard and Mata in the Chelsea squad. Subsequent mediocre spells at Roma and LA Galaxy followed before Cole wrapped up his career with a 6-month spell at Derby County under Lampard, in which he netted their final FA Cup goal, the tournament that he won more than any other player in history. A fitting end to a fantastic career. Centre mid, John Obi Mikel. An 18-year-old John Obi Mikel arrived at Chelsea in controversial fashion in 2005, after Man United thought they had in fact signed the player from Lille. It says a lot that the two managers of the quality of Jose Mourinho and Alex Ferguson were fighting over this young Nigerian signature after just 6 appearances in the Norwegian top flight. But by the time he left for China in January 2017, halfway through his 11th season at the club, only 6 players had made more than his 249 Premier League appearances for the club. Despite picking up numerous injuries and playing under 10 different managers, John Obi Mikel was a mainstay whenever fit, playing at least 33 games in all but one of his 10 full campaigns there. But like many others on this list so far, Obi Mikel didn't fare so well when he packed his bags and left. After just 31 games in China, the 89-capped international turned up at Championship side Middlesbrough, where he narrowly missed out on the playoffs under Tony Pulis. Signed this summer by Trabzonspor along with Sorloth and Sturridge, the 2-time Premier League winner will be hoping to wrap up his career with a first trophy in 5 years in 2020. Centre mid, Frank Lampard. The least exciting inclusion on this list, everybody knows Lampard is at the helm of his beloved Chelsea, for whom he made 648 appearances and scored a club record of 211 goals over a 13-year period, at an average of 16 goals per season. Despite averaging 17 shots per game, a figure only topped by Man City and Liverpool, and 9.6 shots against, the 4th best record, 2 wins from their opening 5 games sees Chelsea sit 6th, already 7 points behind tabletoppers Liverpool. Although it was always going to take some time to adapt to his methods, especially considering the loss of their talisman Hazard and the inability to sign unregistered players, Lampard would surely have hoped for better than 4 goals conceded against newly promoted Norwich and Sheffield United. Whilst the performances of Abraham Mount and now established Kovacic have given the Chelsea faithful something to shout about, it appears that anything more than a 4th place finish will be a miracle in 1920. Right winger, Solomon Kalu. Signed for just £9 million from Feyenoord in May 2006, Kalu instantly became a regular at the Bridge, playing at least 37 games in all competitions over the next 5 full seasons. Never a regular scorer, he failed to hit more than 13 in a single season and saw his game time severely reduced following the arrivals of Mata and Lukaku in the summer of 2011. He had made just 10 starts in the Premier League and Champions League by the May showpiece. But aware of his superior defensive qualities, Di Matteo elected to start the 97-capped Ivorian on the right over Malouda and Torres. And the versatile forward didn't let him down, completing 92% of his passes and 2 dribbles alongside 2 tackles in an all-action display, before he was withdrawn in the 84th minute. After 6 years with the side, Chelsea decided not to renew his contract that summer, and with reports of interest from Liverpool, Arsenal and Newcastle, the 4-time FA Cup winner chose to join Rudi Garcia's Lille. Now 34, Kalu is entering his 6th season with Hertha Berlin, the team with whom he has scored 27 league goals over the last 3 campaigns. A solid performer since, Kalu's career definitely peaked in Munich. Centre attacking mid, Juan Mata. It's easy to forget with Juan Mata only having started 17 league games for a poor Manchester United side since the start of 18-19, just how brilliant he was at Chelsea. Signed from Valencia for a £23.5 million fee in August 2011, after shining in that summer's under-21 Euros, Mata arrived at Chelsea as an established player. Not only had the Real Madrid Academy graduate played 174 senior games for Los Che by the age of 23, but arrived as a 10-capped international and a World Cup winner in arguably the greatest international team of all time. It didn't take the young Spaniard long to adapt. 19 league goal contributions, 7 in the Champions League, including a crucial away goal against Napoli in the last 16 and an assist in the final, saw Mata rightly named as Chelsea's Player of the Year in their most famous season in their history. Sadly, after starting 11 of Chelsea's first 22 league matches under Mourinho in 13-14, Mata left for United in a hugely controversial £37 million deal. Despite making 222 appearances for the Reds, he's never managed to top his incredible 2.5 years in West London, where he averaged a mental 0.7 goal contributions a game. Left wing, Ryan Bertrand. To say that the then 22-year-old Ryan Bertrand was a bolter for the 22 Champions League final is an understatement. The academy graduate had played just 14 games for the club and started just 6 Premier League games, when he was selected at left midfield for their clash against the 4-time European champions, becoming the first player in history to make their European debut in the final. Bertrand didn't let his side down. He made 3 tackles and interceptions and 3 aerial duels in a solid defensive display, with no one on the pitch making more headers. Despite making 38 appearances under Di Matteo and Rafa Benitez, the arrival of Jose Mourinho saw Bertrand's game time limited, and he was loaned to Villa and then Southampton, who he joined permanently in January 2015. Since then, Bertrand has battled numerous injury issues to make 171 Saints appearances, with his peak arguably in the 16-17 season, where he contributed 6 league goals along with 2.9 tackles and interceptions per 90. Now 30, his fading performances over the last 18 months have seen him fall behind Chilwell, Shaw and Rose in the England pecking order, with the last of his 19 caps coming in 2017. Striker, Didier Drogba. Although everyone knows how it ends, the 2011-12 season was actually one of relative struggle for Didier Drogba. In and out of the side under AVB, he started just 16 Premier League games and only netted 13 in all competitions, his lowest in a single season since he was a 23-year-old breaking through at Guingamp. But come the business end of the 2012 season, Drogba, arguably the most clutch Premier League player of the century, turned up as he always does. He followed up his 100th Premier League goal in March with a goal in the FA Cup semi-final and final against Liverpool, becoming the first player to score in 4 finals of the competition. Not only that, but he backed up his first leg semi-final goal against Barcelona with the all-important equaliser against Bayern, his 9th goal in 9 finals for the club. The Chelsea fans thought Munich was a good buy, but Mourinho managed to entice him back to the bridge in the 14-15 season, in which he cemented his legend status further with 7 goals in 40 appearances, helping his beloved Blues to his 4th Premier League title. Now a part owner of the club he retired at, Phoenix Rising, we wouldn't bet against the King returning to the bridge in some capacity in the future. So that was our Chelsea 2012 Champions League final. Where are they now 11? Let us know if you like the new format in the comments below. And if you haven't, as we said before, subscribe to the channel, notifications, all the good stuff, and we'll see you next time.